Welcome back to the channel, friends. Today, let's talk about something you have definitely experienced: brain rot. You know what I mean? Those short videos you keep scrolling through at 1 am, not interesting enough to be life changing, not boring enough for you to stop. You watch one and then another, and suddenly your weekend is gone. Some call it entertainment, some call it a waste of life. Economists, though, well, they are now calling it theft. Yes, theft. Not of your wallet, but of your attention. Economists are starting to treat attention the same way they think about land, labor, and capital. Why? Because attention is scarce. You only have 24 hours in a day, and if three of them vanish into reels about cats falling off tables, that's time you'll never speed reading, working, or let's be honest, actually sleeping. What's more, focus is like a tool. Use it well, and you can build things like knowledge, ideas, a career. Lose it, and suddenly, even reading a newspaper article feels impossible if your phone is buzzing nearby. This also explains why we fall for silly things like left digit bias. You know why $2.99 looks like a bargain compared to $3, even though they are basically the same. Our brains go 2 is less than 3, good enough. Who has time or attention to look at the last digit? Economists have a term for this. Princeton's Christopher Sims called it rational inattention. In simple English, our brains can't process everything, so we sensibly ignore some things. Focus has to be rationed like water in a drought. So, when financial markets slowly adjust to news, economists think, hey, maybe it's not stupidity, it's just the limits of human attention. But this thinking is not new. Nobel Prize winner Herbert Simon talked about bounded rationality decades ago. Instead of expecting humans to be perfect decision machines, he said people just settle for good enough. Simon put it nicely. A wealth of information creates a poverty of attention. And oh boy, if he thought the world was noisy back in the 1970s, imagine explaining TikTok to him. He used an image I love, a pair of scissors. One blade is of one blade is our limited brains. The other is the information environment around us. Together they shape our choices. And let's be real, when your environment constantly pings, buzzes and baits you, scissors cut your focus to shreds. But wait, what even is attention? Economists still wrestle with this. Researchers George Lowenstein and Zachary Wojcicki say it's basically selecting and focusing your limited mental energy on one task. That can mean remembering things, blocking distractions, or literally keeping your eyes on an object. The tricky part: attention comes in shades. Looking at a road sign versus resisting daydreaming in a lecture are both paying attention, but they are not identical. Similar problem, economists also mash together different machines, factories, software, and patents into one big bucket called capital. It's useful but also messy. And here's the bigger twist: attention is not always voluntary. Economists have two models here. Top down attention is when you choose, like listening to music while you drive, because driving's boring after you learn it. Then bottom up attention is where the environment chooses. That ping of a text, a child darting into the road, or the irresistible smell of fresh samosas when you promised yourself salad. Even emotions hijack attention. Hunger grabs you, pain is impossible to ignore, and boredom, that's the enemy that often pushes you right back into brain rot. So here's the real danger. If attention is a scarce resource, then today's digital world has become one big marketplace, except you don't get to keep what's being sold. Companies design perfect distraction machines, algorithms that know exactly when to tempt you, when to make you laugh, when to make you anxious so you won't look away. In other words, attention theft. And unlike stolen money, there's no refund. So, is there hope? Can we defend ourselves? Maybe. Social norms can help. Think about libraries. No phones, no talking, just silence. Collective respect for focus. Laws and regulations might emerge someday, But for now, the best defense is painfully simple. When you really want to think, keep your phone far, far away. Because no matter how smart economists get, there's no model that saves you from zombie scrolling at 2 am. And that, dear listeners, is the economics of attention. Your time is your wealth. Spend it wisely. Unless the next video is really funny. Thank you for watching this video. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.